Hi, everyone. Welcome to All Levels Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. Grab your 2 blocks, strap, and possibly a blanket. Let's begin sitting down, maybe on that blanket so that your pelvis is slightly elevated. So we've been talking throughout this week about the 4th yama or ethical principle within the first limb of yoga, and that's brahmacharya. So here's another take or definition of it by Constance L. Habash in Awakening Self. It's a website. She says, I translate brahmacharya as mastery of our energies. It requires us to master all of our behaviors rather than allow them to unconsciously drive us. And it takes many years of dedication and practice to establish oneself in brahmacharya. Thoughts and feelings will come and go, but we must learn to be unattached to what arises and able to release it at will. B.K.S. Iyengar, one of the founders of a modern version of yoga, asserts that one established in brahmacharya develops a fund of vitality and energy, a courageous mind, and a powerful intellect. Brahmacharya is the battery that sparks the torch of wisdom. We are essentially energy itself, an abundant resource of empowerment, strength, and penetrating insight lies within, waiting for us to master it. As we practice brahmacharya, may that torch of wisdom continue to brighten within us. So you may be familiar with mudras, hand gestures, and they help to, just like breathwork, help to navigate energy flow through the body as well. So there's actually a particular breath work called prana mudra, and prana meaning life force. And it's where you take your index finger and middle finger and bring them together. The palms are turned up, and then the rest of the fingers come together and the thumbs are on top. And then you let the arms rest onto your lap. And it's known to help source vitality in the body. You can probably feel that sort of assertiveness in this positioning of the hands. So as we come into this mudra, sit up a little bit taller and ground your sitting bones. Lift through the crown of your head and feel the alignment of your spine. As you let your shoulders soften slightly back and down, allow a broadening across your collarbones. Tuning into just how you're already breathing, not even changing it. Just notice what it's like. As you might already know, when we're feeling depleted of energy, our breath pattern is different. When we're feeling full of energy, our breath pattern is different. So with non-judgmental awareness, just observe what your breath pattern is like at this moment. Even notice any sensations in your body informing you of more specifics of what you need to establish more of a state of balance through this practice. Remember that I'm merely just your tour guide here. You are the teacher, and it's with your discernment that you choose your energetic approach to any movement and posture, knowing that you have the choice to rest as you define rest. Now allow your breath to deepen. With curiosity, feeling where in your body you feel it the most. Let your breath sound out to your mouth. Inhaling very slowly, pausing at the top of your breath while relaxing your body. And again to your mouth, exhaling, perhaps a sound. Pausing at the bottom at empty. Again, inhale. Pause at the top. This time, see if you can sip in a little more air. Maximize the depth of your breath. And through the mouth, empty it slowly. All the way to hollowed belly, hold the breath. Then we'll ease into Ujjayi Pranayama, which means victorious breathing. As you continue to breathe with the mouth closed, if that's available to you, while softly narrowing or constricting the back of your throat to create a gentle whispering sound. Easing your breath into fullness. Smoothly transitioning to the breath out to empty. Equal in and out. So establishing a state of balance in your breath, let your body and mind follow suit. As you continue to listen to your breath, we're going to come on down into child's pose, setting your feet together at the rear of your mat. And as you're making your way there, I'm just going to make sure that everybody's muted. As you bring your feet together, either knees together or apart, drop your pelvis all the way down to your heels, lengthening your torso forward. Do extend your arms forward so that your elbows are shoulders distance apart. We're going to continue the mudra, the hand gesture we've been practicing, prana mudra. So as you rotate your outer upper arms towards the floor, letting the inner creases of your elbows face each other and the sky. Broaden across your shoulders and draw your shoulder blades further down your back ribs. And with the palms turned up, again, point your index and middle fingers forward together. Feel that extension of energy through the fingertips. Then close the other fingers with the thumbs on top. Continuing Ujjayi breath in. And out to your nose. About 4 more breaths here in Balasana, child's pose. Remember that this is a good resting stop anytime you need to take it, this position. Now keep rotating your triceps towards the ground, and at your wrists, flip your palms to face down. Inhale, glide forward onto hands and knees, paralleling your shins. Keep reaching your chest forward and up, entering cow pose. As you exhale, drop your chin and round your back, entering cat pose. Really slow and mindful movements. Inhale, chest forward through the arms. Shoulders rolling down as you look up. Exhale, hollow your belly. Feel your tailbone tuck underneath. And at your own pace, going for 3 to 5 more cycles of Vidalasana, cat-cow pose. And then from here, rest to a neutral spine. We're going to step the right knee forward as if your knees were walking on a tightrope. So right knee in front of the left knee. Splay your feet towards the outside edges of your mat. And then come to sit down in Gomukhasana. If you're finding that you're tilting to one side, it's hard to be balanced on your pelvis here, then you can straighten the bottom leg forward and flex the bottom foot. Now with your hands alongside your legs, breathe in and lift your heart. Then exhale, extend your heart forward and begin to bow. Pause, firm down through your pelvis, and inhale, stretch your spine from it. And with your throat open, exhale to bow a little more. Taking it just like that, another 3 breaths. This is a wonderful posture to combat any pain from sciatica nerve issues. Lower back release and outer hip opening is what it gifts. Now on your next inhale, lifting from your chest, rise all the way up. You're gonna bend the knees, keep the crisscross of the legs, and forward, stepping the left knee in front of the right knee as though your knees were walking on a tightrope. Splaying the feet apart to the outside edges of your mat, rock back to sit again, now with the opposite leg on top. And then again, if you find that it's hard to sit upright with your pelvis balance, then straighten your bottom leg and flex the foot. Round your sitting bones, lift your chest, take a deep breath. And exhale, extend your chest forward, walking your hands forward. Pause, root down to your sitting bones. Inhale, stretch your spine forward. And exhale, fold a little more. Ardha or full Gomukhasana, cow face pose. Now on your next in-breath, lift from your chest, rising. And this time you can rock forward or swing your leg to one side. Let's come back to all fours, hands and knees. Tuck your toes to lift your hips back into downward facing dog. And spend the first few breaths, if you like, to shift around. Pedaling your feet in place can give your hamstrings and calves a gentle stretch. And also adding swiveling your hips left and right can help to release stiffness along the outer hips and lower back. Let your head fall. You might explore moving your skull to relax your neck. Now separating your feet hips width apart, parallel. Wrists, shoulders width apart. Index fingers parallel as they point forward. Root down especially between your thumb and index fingers. Rotate your triceps towards the ground. Bend your knees generously and lift your hips high. As you firm your belly in, draw your sitting bones towards your rear wall. Imagining arrows of energy descending down the backs of your hamstrings, your calves, your heels, towards the ground. Another 3 deep breaths as you steady your gaze on the floor towards your feet in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhaling, glide forward into the top of a push-up, your version of plank pose. You're going to pause here for about 5 breaths. Now you could set your knees down for added support or straighten your legs and actively firm your heels back, engaging the front muscles of your thighs. Either way, engage your lower belly, broaden your chest forward as you look a foot ahead of your hands onto the floor. On your next exhalation, glide about a foot ahead of your wrists before hugging your elbows bent towards your side ribs through Chaturanga Dandasana, then all the way to the ground. Slide your elbows forward to land about an inch in front of each shoulder in Sphinx pose. With your forearms parallel, palms face down, let's take a few breaths here. If you have any tension in your jaw or your neck, you might find it helpful to just softly shake your head no or move it organically. Feel the energy of your legs. Stretch your toes back, ground firmly through the tops of your feet. Spiral your inner thighs slightly towards the sky and draw your tailbone towards the ground between your heels. Last couple of breaths. Now, before we take a regular cobra pose, we're going to activate the muscles in the back so that we're using them more to lift our chest rather than using our hands more pressing the ground. So slide your palms back until your wrists land alongside your floating ribs. Bending your elbows still close to your sides, firm down through the tops of your feet, and keep your pelvis on the ground. Knees are off the mat. Now, as you inhale, contract the muscles, especially beneath your shoulder blades, to lift your chest off the floor, floating your hands an inch or two off the ground. As you draw your chest forward, peel your shoulder blades down your back ribs. We're here another 3 breaths. Keep your feet heavy on the floor, every toenail touching. Keep hugging your elbows close to your sides. Softening the tops of your shoulders away from your neck. Look on the ground ahead. Now stay lifted in your chest and lower your palms. Imagine dragging your heart further forward to further coil your chest up into regular Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Take another in-breath and tuck your toes. Pressing your heels back. Exhale, draw your belly in to press up through plank. Then lift your pelvis into downward facing dog. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. Bend your knees, lift your heels and hips high, look beyond your hands. At the end of your exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Pressing the ground or your shins, inhale, press your heart through the gates of your arms and look forward. Exhale, bow even deeper. From down to your feet, inhale, sweep your arms overhead to rise, palms meet. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line, arms by your sides in mountain. Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, press to lengthen your chest forward. Carefully step into your version of plank. Exhaling as you glide a foot forward of your wrists, hug your elbows close to your sides through Chaturanga. Either lower all the way down to enter Cobra or flip your toes and enter upward facing dog as you breathe in. Hollowing your belly, lift your hips high, draw your weight back into downward facing dog. Let's pause here for 3 to 5 deep breaths. Bending your knees, lift your heels and hips high, look beyond your hands. On emptied breath, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, draw your chest forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root down to rise up. Exhale, back to mountain pose. Twice more. Inhale your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bow into Uttanasana. Inhale, rise halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. This time step to plank or float into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale through Bhujangasana or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale back to Adho Mukha Svanasana for 3 to 5 breaths here. Bending your knees, look ahead. At the bottom of your exhale, walk or float to the top. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise tall, look up. Exhale to mountain pose. Once more, inhale, sweep the space around you. Exhale, dive in. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward. Step or float as you exhale into Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Bhujangasana or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. 3 to 5 breaths. As you listen to the breath quality, your breath quality, notice if there's any change in the pattern. Is your body asking you to slow down, to ease up a bit, to maintain the same intensity, or to step it up a notch? With bent knees, look forward. Bottom of the breath, walk or float. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, bring your feet to touch, knees to touch. Lean your weight towards your heels, taking 3 breaths in Utkatasana chair pose. As you raise your arms, draw your shoulder blades down your back, tilt your tailbone downward, and slide your shin bones back. With an exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Step or float to lower through Chaturanga. Inhale, coil your chest up. Exhale, back to downward dog. We're going to take the traditional practice of sun salutation B, slowing it down here. With your feet hips width apart in downward facing dog, turn out your left foot so the heel is flat on the floor, tracing the midline of your mat. Bend your right knee towards your nose to softly land the right foot forward, just inside of your right hand. Your feet are about hips width apart here to allow both hips to face forward. Grounding the entire soles of both feet. Start to rise up into Warrior One with arms overhead. As you're bending your front knee right on top of the heel, tack your right outer hip back and feel your left hip bone come forward. Press the outside edge of your left heel into the floor, completely straightening your left leg. Now, if you can keep your arms straight and your shoulders relaxed, you might explore sealing your palms and looking towards your thumbs. Take another deep breath. Use the exhale to lower from plank into Chaturanga Dandasana. Cobra or upward dog as you inhale. Exhale back to downward. With the feet hips width apart, turn out your right foot so your right heel drops to the midline of your mat. Bend your left knee towards your nose and softly land the foot just inside of your left hand. With your feet about hips width apart, soles of your feet both grounded, keep your hips facing forward and press through your feet to rise. Virabhadrasana 1. Bending your front knee right on top of the heel. Tack your left outer hip back. Straightening your right leg entirely, press your outer right heel down. With the arms lifted and shoulders relaxed, you might explore sealing your palms and gazing past your thumbs. Let's take another breath in. Use the entire exhale to lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. The inhale to lift the heart, Cobra or upward dog. The exhale to land in downward facing, pausing there for 3 to 5 breaths. Bend your knees, look forward. At the end of your exhale, lightly land at the top with your feet touching. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. And with your knees touching, inhale, sit back into chair pose. Press through your feet to exhale, rise into mountain. So that completes a full cycle of sun salutation B. Let's do 2 in a row. Warming up here on this rainy day. Breath-led movement. So focus on the quality of your breathing to affect being able to fully enter and exit the pose with some sort of ease. So arms by your sides. Let's take a deep breath here. Next, inhale, bend your knees, sit into chair. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, lower into Chaturanga in your own way. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, downward dog. Turn out your left foot. Bend your right knee towards your nose, stepping right foot forward. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, lower through plank, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, downward dog. Turn out your right foot, bend the left knee towards your nose, step the left foot forward. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, lower, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, the heart lifts. Exhale, back to downward for 3 to 5 breaths in stillness. Bending your knees, look past your hands, empty the breath, then walk or float. Feet touching. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale, fold. Knees touching. Inhale, sit back, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, rise up. Last round of Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, lower in your own way through chaturanga. Inhale, chest up. Exhale, downward. Spin the left foot out, right knee to nose, step it forward. Inhale up to warrior one. Exhale down through chaturanga dandasana. Breathe in, lift your chest. Breathe out, downward dog. Turn out your right foot, left knee to nose, step left foot forward. Inhale, rise, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. All the way through, we'll meet in downward facing. Three to 5 breaths. Notice as you steady your breathing, bring your body to stillness, and even steady your eyes on one spot. Always of not leaking your energy. With bent knees, look ahead. Bottom of the breath, walk or float. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale to chair. And exhale to rise up. Shifting your weight onto your left foot as I'm mirroring you. Turn out your right leg at the hip, coming into tree pose. So with the sole of your right foot, either hug the inside of your left ankle, calf, or thigh. Leveling your 2 hips as you think of lifting your pelvic floor. And then steady your eyes, or you could close your eyes and explore any way you want to have your arms. Vrikshasana. And like I said earlier, you could play with this in headstand for those of you tripodders. Take another breath in. And exhale, let it go. And to stand, maybe you walk it out or you just take a deep breath out. Feel your right foot pressing into the earth as you turn out your left thigh at the hip. Hugging the inside of your right ankle, calf, or thigh. Balancing your hips, draw your navel in and slightly lift it up. And explore any way you like. Vrikshasana. One more breath in. And And exhale, let it go. Shake it out or just sigh it out. So let's come up to the top of our mat. Grab your blocks. You may want to use them. As you stand with your feet hips width apart, place your blocks on the outsides of your heels. And keeping your hips forward, step your left foot back 2/3 as wide of a stance as you had in Warrior One. It's a little bit shorter, back heels on the floor, legs are straight, preparing for Parsvottanasana. Reach your arms behind your back to open your chest. You could either press fist to fist, hold opposite elbows, or go further in reverse prayer, palm to palm, fingertips sliding up towards between your shoulder blades. Now engage the muscles in your legs, spread your toes. Inhale, lift your heart, look up. Exhale, hinge just a little bit of the way forward. Drawing right hip back so hips are balanced. Breathe in to stretch your spine from your pelvis. Exhale, fold a little more. And just like that, keep going, firming your belly towards your back. Pyramid pose or Parsvottanasana. Now, as you lead with your chest, keep your legs strong, your belly strong. Inhale, lengthen your spine parallel to the ground. Place your left hand either on the left side of your front leg, good place to start, or on the right side of your front leg, which will be more challenging to balance in. Use your right thumb to gently hook your right hip crease back, re-leveling your hips. As you draw the crown of your head forward, soften your shoulders down your back. Breathe in. Then exhale, rotate your chest to face your right wall little by little. Raise your right arm up, palm facing right wall, revolved triangle pose, or Parita Trikonasana. This is a great posture for many things, but we did have a request to find some ease in the sciatica nerve area, lower back, outer hip. You may feel it there. Psoas. Parita Trikonasana. One more deep breath. Look at your right foot, frame it with your two hands, and step your left foot forward, hips distance from the right. Bring your hands to your hips, lead with your chest. Inhale, rise up to stand. Side two, step your right foot back 2/3 as far away as Warrior One, grounding both heels with both legs straight. Bring your arms behind you, either fist to fist, or switch the opposite elbow on top to hold, or reverse prayer. Spread your toes, energize your legs, and inhale, lift your heart, gaze up. Exhale, hinge forward from your hips just a little bit per breath. Draw your shoulder blades back, square your hips, and continue to stretch your spine as you're folding. Parsvottanasana. Giving our hamstrings and lower back some love for 2 more breaths here. Now keep your legs stable, your belly firm, and inhale, lift your spine parallel to the ground. Lower your right hand on the right side of your front leg, good place to start, or on the left side of your front leg if you're looking for more challenge. Place your left thumb on your outer left hip, drawing it back to balance your hips. As you breathe in, stretch your spine down the midline of your mat, sliding your shoulders down your back. As you breathe out, keep your hips still, but rotate your chest little by little to face your left wall. Raise your left arm up and begin to stack your wrists and shoulders. Parita Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose. Check in with your breathing here. Look down at your left foot, lower your 2 hands to frame it, and step your right foot forward to the top of your mat. Place your hands on your hips. Lead with your chest. Inhale to slowly rise. So now grab your 2 blocks and please place them 1 foot ahead of your feet at the top of your mat. So you're on their tallest height, shoulders width apart. Bring your feet together to touch. Reestablish the cadence of your breath. Preparing for eagle pose or Garudasana, cactus, bend your elbows apart. Then cross your right elbow over the left and either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms in palms. Remember that it's the right elbow on top this round. Draw your shoulder blades down your back, lengthening your neck. Lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders. Gently press your forearms forward away from your face and feel the broadening of your shoulder blades across your upper back. Now with your feet touching, bend your knees to touch in chair pose. Shifting your weight onto your right foot, turn out your left leg from the hip and flex your left foot as you cross your left leg over the right as much as you can. If you're able to reach, tuck your left toes behind your right calf and scissor your left hip slightly back so that both hip bones are facing forward. Now see if you could sit a little lower, keeping your spine upright for a few more breaths. Eagle pose, Garudasana. We're gonna take flight with some hang time in Warrior 3. You can choose to keep your arms in eagle like this, or reach your hands onto the blocks for support, or join your hands in prayer at your heart. There are a lot of options. So unravel your left leg behind you, parallel to the ground, flexing your left foot. Feel your toes facing the floor. Reach your spine forward to create a horizontal line from head to inner left heel. Broaden your chest forward and square your 2 hips. Lifting the navel, explore what you want to do with your arms. If your back muscles are itching for some rigor, you can extend your arms forward. Virabhadrasana 3. Notice your breath pattern here. We're gonna slowly make our way into Warrior 2 by stepping the left foot gently to the rear of your mat. So take your time getting there. You'll windmill the arms apart and land with your right heel intersecting the arch of your left foot. When you arrive in Warrior 2, feel that your right outer hip is wrapping slightly beneath your body as you bend your front knee right on top of the heel. Firming the top of your left thigh bone back towards your right wall as you straighten your back leg. Then with arms wide open, shoulders are relaxed, and your gaze is steady just past your right hand. Virabhadrasana 2. Moving into triangle pose, straighten your right leg and perhaps shorten your stance 2 to 3 inches. Slide your hips sideways towards the rear of your mat. Reach your right hand forward towards your front wall before tilting it onto your right shin or just to the right of your leg so your arm and leg could firm against each other, perhaps using a block. Raising your left arm towards the sky, we're going to add a lateral lengthening by wrapping your left tricep to face your left wall and sweeping your left arm overhead towards your front wall. Those of you itching for a little more core strengthening for your obliques, micro-bend your right knee and parallel your right arm to the left. Either way, spiral your chest towards the sky, and let's take a few more breaths. Look down at your right foot, inhale. Exhale your hands to frame it. Either take a moment to rest or move through Chaturanga or cat-cow. Let's meet in downward facing dog. steadying your gaze, your breath, your body. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look past your hands, empty your breath, then walk or float to the top. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Root down through your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms to rise. Palms meet overhead. Exhale into mountain pose. Side two, so bend your elbows apart like a cactus. Cross your left elbow over the right. Either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms. Slide your shoulders down, lifting your crown. Lift your elbows to the height of your shoulders and gently press your forearms away from your face. Notice your breathing as you move through these transitions. With feet touching, bend your knees to touch. Sit into chair pose. Then shifting your weight onto your left foot. Turn out your right leg. Flex your right foot as you wrap your right leg over the left as much as you can. Now, if it's reachable, tuck your right toes behind your left calf. Scissor your right hip slightly back, so both hip bones are facing forward. And see if you could sit a little lower. Spine upright, calm, steady breaths, calm, steady focus. We're going to slowly catch some hang time in Warrior 3. Flexing your right foot, unravel your right leg behind you as if your heel were trying to press your back wall. Arms could be any variations. Hands together, reaching for the blocks, maybe reaching the arms forward or back. Tilt your right hip bone towards the ground, tack your left outer hip back, and find length from head to toe. Taking your time to land Warrior 2, step your right foot to the rear of your mat and cartwheel your arms apart. Aligning your left heel to the arch of your right foot. Wrap your left sitting bone underneath. Bend your knee just over the heel. And firm the top of your right thigh bone towards your left leg. With full expansion, relax your shoulders and lift your heart. Let's take Vidrasana 2. Preparing for triangles, straighten your left leg and maybe shorten your hands 2 to 3 inches. Glide your hips towards the rear of your mat. Reach your left hand towards your front wall, lowering it onto your shin, or just to the left of it, where arm and leg could firm against each other. Wrapping your right tricep to face your right wall, sweep your right arm overhead. And for those of you that did so on the first side, micro bend your left knee and lift your left arm to parallel with the right. Spiral your chest towards the sky and smile. Notice if that makes any difference in how this feels. For a few more breaths. Uddita Trikonasana. Look at your left foot, breathe in. Exhale your hands to frame it, step back. You decide if a flow is needed right now or rest. Downward facing dog. Let's take a few deep breaths. And while there, try stepping your wrists apart a little wider than shoulders distance. Bring your feet together to touch. Inch them forward about 5 inches or more closer to your hands. Bending your knees, lift your heels and hips high. Look 2 feet past your fingertips. Now we're gonna land sitting down with your legs through your arms, Whether you walk your feet forward or take a few hops, or try to engage Mula Bandha, that's drawing the lower belly in and up once you've emptied the breath, and using that to float your legs through your arms to sit. Once you come down to sit, lean back, bring your feet together for boat pose. Now you could hold on to the backs of your thighs, you can reach your arms forward, or you could row the boat. Literally, take your paddle, your imaginary paddle, and stroke to the right, twist. Inhale, look forward, and exhale, stroke to the left, twist. Inhale, look forward, exhale to the right, twist. Inhale, look forward, exhale to the left, twist. 2 more on each side. Inhale, forward, exhale, right, twist. Inhale, forward, exhale, left, twist. Last round, breathe in and exhale. Breathe in and exhale. Now from here, catch the backs of your thighs and begin to rock and roll. Oops, the mic there. Forward and back a few times. Oops. Until you could eventually land forward in a squat, inner edges of your feet touching, knees splayed apart. Coming into sort of a hybrid of child's pose and a squat. Thumbs up if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Okay, sorry, because the mic got detached. Right from here, set your hands forward on blocks or the floor and extend your chest forward as you're bowing. Draw your pelvis back and down. Now, some of you might choose to stay here. Nice stretch for the lower back and hips. Otherwise, you might use this position to prepare for setting up crow pose, Bakasana, an arm balance. If you're coming into crow, walk your hands towards you until they're about 1 foot in front of your feet. Keep the inner edges of your feet touching, your heels lifted, and your arms parallel. Think of your arms like Chaturanga Dandasana. Hollow your belly, lift your hips high, look beyond your hands onto the floor. Then place your knees high up on the outsides of your armpits or upper arms. Using your upper arms like elevators, bend your elbows back, and then rock forward by looking forward. Maybe you lift a toe or 3 or more, doesn't matter. Notice the quality of your breath in this process. Notice the quality of your focus that you're sharpening. Now, some of you might want to play with a challenge of springing back into Chaturanga Dandasana for one last vinyasa. Some of you might come into a forward fold. We're going to eventually meet sitting down again, whatever you choose, in Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together, knees bent apart. Catching your outer feet or your big toes. And then sit up tall in Baddha Konasana. Breathe in, extend your heart forward as you breathe out. Maybe walking the hands forward. Now consider what active inversion you want to play with for just another minute. Whether it's downward dog, maybe it's a standing forward fold, perhaps moving into tripod headstand if that's in your practice, dolphin pose, or Shirshasana headstand, which I'll walk you through and you can decide through the process where you'll end up. So if you're not taking Shirshasana, go ahead and practice your inversion. Those of you practicing Shirshasana, come to sit on your shins and extend your arms forward. Wrap your triceps down, interlace your fingers, making a snail out of your pinkies. And then root your elbows onto the ground, exactly shoulders width. Draw your shoulder blades down your back. Cultivate space and lightness in your neck. Bring the crown of your head to the floor so the back of your skull is lightly against your inner palms. Breathe. Tuck your toes, lift your hips, walk your feet forward, feet together to touch. Now with your forearms pressing the floor, lift your shoulders away from your neck. You might come up higher onto your toes, to begin tilting your pelvic bowl upside down. Maybe you lift one leg straight up as you hug your midline and flex your lifted foot, squaring your hips. And then maybe you switch. Or think of boat pose, bending both knees, hollowing your belly like you would in crow pose. Maybe straightening the legs as you keep your feet together, flexed. Notice your breath here. So whatever inversion you've decided to practice, when you're ready to rest, let's all meet in child's pose. Coming down in reverse of the stage as you got up with. When you arrive, take a few longer exhales than inhales in Balasana, child's pose. Then pressing your hands on the ground beside your knees, inhale, slowly roll your spine upright. Grab a block and let's lie down on your back for bridge pose. Hugging the block by its skinniest width in between your thighs, bring your arms down by your sides and walk your feet back until you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite, just almost. Parallel your feet, spread your toes, tilt your chin back slightly away from your chest. And grounding your shoulders, inhale, lift your pelvis. Give yourself 5 or more full breaths before you lower with an exhalation. Walking your upper arms closer together under your back ribs. Try to keep your arms straight. Consider interlacing your fingers. Energize your hamstrings by imagining as if you're dragging your heels towards your glutes without visibly moving them. And at the same time, stretch your tailbone forward towards the space between your knees, blossoming your chest open as you open your throat. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana, bridge pose. This posture, as you might already feel, lends itself to deeper breaths. So take advantage of that position, expanding your rib cage, expanding your lungs. When you lower to rest, take 3 deep breaths. We're going up one last time in your choice of bridge pose or upward facing dog. Excuse me, upward facing bow, not dog. Or restorative bridge, where you could use the block to support your sacrum and rest right here. Now, if you're not taking upward facing bow, go ahead and go at your own pace, 5 or more breaths. Otherwise, keep the block between your thighs for Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward bow. Reach your hands alongside your ears with your fingertips slightly turned out. Elbows hug your midline so the arms stay parallel the whole pose. Then lift your pelvis like bridge and activate your hamstrings while stretching your thighs forward. Bring the crown of your head to the ground. Maybe step the hands a little wider apart. Shoulder blades down your back. Press off the floor through your hands. Think of length rather than lift. Chest is lengthening towards back wall. Tailbone is lengthening towards the block. Notice your breath. When you decide to come down, reverse the stages, crown of your head to the ground, then chin to chest. Then lower one vertebra at a time. If you were an upward bow, you may want to just stretch your wrists for a moment, circling your hands. Let's put the block aside finally and prepare for supine twist. Bend your right knee into your chest, slide your left leg forward onto the ground. Then scoot your pelvis about 3 more inches closer to the right edge of your mat. Open your right arm wide, grounding the shoulder as you look past it, while twisting to your left. Cross your right leg over. Now, if you want to feel a deeper stretch in your lower back, you could use your left palm to gently press away your right outer hip. Last 2 breaths here. At the end of your exhale, roll back to center, to the midline of your mat. Bend your left knee into your chest and straighten your right leg forward. Then scoot your pelvis about 3 more inches to the left. Open your left arm wide, grounding the shoulder as you turn your head towards it. Twist to your... If you're seeking more traction for your lower spine, use your right palm to gently press away your left outer hip. Last couple of breaths. At the end of your exhale, return to bending both knees into your chest. You may want to rock a little or splay your thighs into happy baby. Give yourself about 3 more deep exhalations through your mouth, clearing breaths out. Maybe even lion's breath, where you stick out your tongue, cross your eyes, open your eyes and mouth wide as you exhale. Then begin to set your body up for a peaceful rest in Shavasana. Stretching your legs forward, perhaps resting the backs of your knees onto a pillow, or placing the weight of a blanket across your pelvis. Whatever gives you comfort to be still in for a few minutes. As you rest a little longer in Shavasana, I'd like to give you a little background on our meditation practice today, which is japa, or rather chanting a mantra, whether silently in your mind or out loud. And it's a mantra you've already chanted before. The use of a mantra is to help release the mind, or rather occupy the mind on one thing to keep its focus. The repetition streamlines the focus. The sound creates a vibration of energy. The vibration is rhythmic, causing another focus that calms your nervous system. And each sound creates a different sort of energy. So the sound, or the mantra we're chanting today, is Om. Here's a little bit about it. So Om symbolically embodies the divine energy, or Shakti, and its three main characteristics: creation, preservation, and liberation. The mantra, or vibration, derives from Hinduism and is considered to have high spiritual and creative power. Now, just because you're chanting this, it doesn't mean that you're practicing a religion. It really depends on your take. There's physiological benefits in the sound as well. So when pronounced correctly, Om has 4 syllables, and it is pronounced A, beginning in the solar plexus and sending vibrations up to the chest, Ah. The second syllable, U, moves the sound up into the throat as the sound moves forward along the upper palate. The third syllable, is a prolonged syllable and brings the vibration through the upper chakras as the teeth come together to touch gently. The final syllable is the deep silence of the infinite as the overall vibration rises through the body and into the universe. There are many reasons why we chant Om. It allows us to separate the time of our practice from the rest of everyday lives, signifying that our practice time is a sacred time in which we care for ourselves and practice mindfulness. Also, when chanted, Om vibrates at the frequency of 432 hertz, which is the same vibrational frequency found in all things throughout nature. Om is the basic sound of the universe. Chanting it symbolically and physically tunes into that sound and acknowledges our connection to everything in the world and the universe. And the rhythmic pronunciation and vibrations have a calming effect on the body and the nervous system, similar to the effects of meditation. So we're going to use this as part of our meditation. It also lowers the blood pressure and increases the health of the heart. So those of you that would like to join me, please ease your body into gentle movement coming out of Shavasana, or corpse pose. You might enter a fetal position, that symbol of rebirth, renewal. Be turning over to your right side. And gradually lifting your body upright, please find a comfortable seat so that your physical posture supports the feeling of alertness, balanced with relaxation. Remember, here, as we're practicing brahmacharya, using this mantra, also to streamline our focus. So, taking deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth if you're chanting out loud. Otherwise, you can imagine the sound in your head. Setting the timer for 10 minutes of this practice, beginning now. Inhale, exhale to clear it out, to prepare. purpose back in your body. Gently bring your palms to meet at your heart, lifting your heart as you bow in. Remembering the purpose of all these different practices, these tools of yoga, it's really to connect inward with what you might call your highest self, your inner being, your soul, that which is connected to everyone and everything. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.